County Board of Supervisors meeting to order for December 7th, 2010. I'd like to recognize board members present, Mr. Bobby Popowich from the Port Royal District, Mr. Wayne Akers for the Madison District, Mr. Jeff Seeley representing the Bowling Green District, Mr. Floyd Thomas, Vice Chairman representing the Mattaponi District, and I'm Maxie Roselle, and I represent the Reedy Church District. And at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Popowich if he would open with invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. Let's pray. On this day, December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, I'd like to remember those who have fallen in the past and have kept our country free, and those who are currently keeping our country free. Dear Lord, we also ask that you give us the strength and the wisdom to make the right decisions as we go through the county business throughout the evening, and be with those who are with us in the audience and help them to understand the decisions that we make. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, for all. This time, will we have any opening board comments, Mr. Popowitz?
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Akers? All right, Mr. Seeley?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chair?
No, sir.
And I have none as well. Okay, we do have an amendment for the agenda for item 5F, and also additional items for item number 10.
F is the governor's holiday schedule, which here. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we add agenda item 5F and the additional information for agenda item 10 to our agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. All right, that is the amended agenda. Okay, today we have a special recognition to make. We would like to ask Ms. Moen if she would come forward, and she's going to recognize our Election Day pledges.
Yeah.
Pages, excuse me.
That's right. The Caroline County Board of Supervisors, Electoral Board, and Voter Registrar would like to thank this year's Election Day pages. If you are an Election Day page, please, you can just go forward.
No.
Yes, they get to come up there with y'all.
Wait, no, I know her when she was a baby.
Well, now she was a page.
One of us is getting older. It must be her.
It
Oh, my gosh.
Elections are what make America the land of the free, and our students are very much appreciated. And we hope they will continue to serve our community and their country and participate in the election process in the years to come.
And sir, just want to speak on behalf of the board. We would like to thank you all for your dedication and time served as pages. You know, this is one of the most valuable processes as being American as we can have is to make sure that we have fair and respectable elections. And we certainly thank you for your service and your commitments to that, to making that stand true in Caroline County. So thank you very much for your service.
Okay, we can bring it right around there. Let's see here. The three in the middle, Maxie, you young lady, and the teachers, they move forward, and then if we can get somebody in the back. Okay. There we go. Okay. Bobby, right there. Mr. Akers, if you could step right over next to that lady right there. Okay, Jeff, can you step in just a little bit more without crowding Mr. Popowitz down? Okay, sir, a little bit to my right. Yeah, now I can.
that amazing?
Okay, next we have the the representatives from the Caroline County Fair under presentations and reports. And Francine, good to see you.
Good to see you, and I just need to know how to use this real quick. So, am I on remote here? Uh-oh. All right. Can you come? I don't know how to use this machine. Okay, I'll get started as soon as I have assistance with this. I have technological deficits, you know. I'm not savvy that way. What do I
You have your
need
mic
to
on?
do? I need someone to help turn this on for me.
There you go.
I don't do this for a living. And what do I just hit? Thank you. I've got it. Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to go forward. Hi, gentlemen. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Popowitz, Mr. Akers, Mr. Seeley, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Ashcraft, and other county officials and government leaders. As you know, I am Francine Whitaker, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight as president of the Caroline County Agricultural Fair Association and to present to you our 2010 annual report. As you know, the Caroline County Agricultural Fair is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with our mission to encourage understanding of agriculture history here in Caroline County, as well as to educate about present-day agricultural business and community activities. Wow, we thought 2009 was a banner year for the Caroline County Fair Group when we were able to obtain a permanent fairground home by the generous contribution of Ms. Ann Tate and her family. But 2010 has proven to be even a bigger year for us, and we're going to go over some of those activities tonight and highlight those for you. Am I coming through okay on this mic? I can't tell, okay. We start off each year by attending the Virginia Association of Fair Convention. That is held in January, and we've decided to attend this so it gives us an opportunity to network with other fair organizations throughout the Commonwealth, and we have decided in the past few years to participate in their communication awards. And what that is, it is based on the size of your fair, which we are considered to be a small fair as far as attendance goes. And we simply take our advertising items, our brochures, a sample of our website, the radio ad, the advertisements in the Caroline Progress. We have a very talented member who makes a scrapbook, and we simply take these things and enter them into a competition. Well, we were very successful in January of this year, and we won so many awards that we were called the best overall in communication awards for a fair of attendance of 7,000 or less. And that gave state recognition to the Caroline County Agricultural Fair, of which we were very proud to be recognized on the state level for that. As 2010 started, we knew we had done so well in 2009 with establishment of a permanent fairground home and getting our basic infrastructure in place, that being utilities. We thought, what are we going to do for 2010? We were kind of on a roll. 2009, a right many members went to various fairs throughout Virginia and in neighboring Maryland to look at their fairgrounds, to look at their sites, what type of buildings they had, what were their layouts, just to do some research and generally get some ideas about how we would grow the Caroline County Fairground. We knew we wanted to do some permanent structures. We had been spending over $10,000 a year in tent rentals, which once the fair's over, the tents go away, what do you have left? Nothing. So a decision was made to try to put some of that money toward permanent buildings, and then we were so fortunate to have had members of our community step forward, those being Ms. Jackie Martin and business colleagues of hers, Ms. L.J. Moyer and Mr. John Green, stepped forward with $25,000 of donations and pledges so that we could build the Stuart Martin Pavilion, the L.J. Moyer Home Goods Building, of which in that there is the Shirley Flag Green multi-purpose area. How fortunate we were for those individuals to come forward for us. That being somewhat effortless for us, we said, well, it would really be great to have a barn. Caroline's barn, with all of its animals, has been a very successful part of the fair these past years. People just love that arena. Of course, we've always had to have it under a tent. So we had had such good luck in 2009 with Light Up the Fair campaign. We decided to launch Build the Barn campaign, for which members were just told, or participants who told, for $100, your name will be on permanent signage in the barn when that facility is built. We knew we needed at least $18,000 in which to obtain the materials to build this facility. When the Fair Week started July 14th, we had only obtained $12,000, but daily, actually almost on the hour, we had to set up a temporary banner in which to add names as people came forth with their $100, and some people gave more. Also, as people came and saw the barn, they were so excited. Some of them had already given money, but they decided to give additional money for this, and we were able to exceed our $18,000 goal for the Build the Barn campaign. Of course, we talk about money, and that's important, but we certainly cannot discount the importance of all of our construction volunteers that we had that put forth over 2,500 hours during those 100-degree days that we had in June and July this year. We had 34 volunteers plus 17 businesses who gave discounts and or donated goods and services in support of this building adventure that we were on. And we have put a conservative estimate of the value of this at approximately $78,000. We had people come forth to volunteer this summer that we had never had volunteer for anything at the fair. They came day after day, even carry aboard whatever they could do. They stepped forward for the building of these facilities. So when the fair started July 14th, we had 3 new structures. As you can see, the size of those structures: an open-sided building, the J. Martin Pavilion, the L.J. Moyer Home Goods, and then the James R. Tate Senior Agricultural Pavilion. Along with that, we had permanent signage that had been donated to us by a company called Cobb Sign from Burlington, North Carolina. This is the second year that Cobb Sign has donated, been very generous to the Caroline County Fair. They gave us the sign last year that you see on Route 1 at the fairground entrance. They donated almost $5,000 worth for these permanent signs. It would have been years before we could have had such nice signs. What is their commitment to Caroline County, or their tie? They are associated business-wise with one of our fair members, but the gentleman who owns that company happens to be from rural North Carolina and just likes what we're doing. So we are very excited that he likes us. Of course, we have continued business and community support. We were able to do a few little extras. Originally, the Home Goods building was going to be a dirt floor, but we were able to add concrete to that floor. Leftover concrete enabled us to add an animal washing area behind the barn. We had 2 of our HVAC companies in the community, Ladysmith Heating and Air and Evans, come forth, gave us air conditioning units and installed them so we could have some air conditioning in that Home Goods building, which we found was a very helpful thing in those 100-degree fair days that we had in July. Of course, we have continued maintenance of the fair site. It doesn't get to be a real well-groomed area just by virtue of it's there. We have people who work all the time to help maintain our fairground home. The buildings are very exciting, but we had other exciting things happen as well in 2010. We were able to establish a 911 address with 8332 County Fair Lane. Real excited to have the lane named after the county fair, as well as we established our permanent mailing address through the Ruther Glen Post Office. We were able to determine from the research that we had done a permanent layout. Of course, we needed a permanent layout if we were putting permanent buildings in place. And then Summit Recycling, the gentleman that owns that company, had given us the trolley in '09, but we were able to refurbish that and provide trolley services throughout our fairgrounds during the week of the fair, as well as we've continued to use this for publicity and marketing purposes. We were in the Frog Level Parade back in October, and we're going to be in the Bowling Green Christmas Parade this Saturday with our trolley. We knew we needed to promote the fair, and we researched direct mailing this year, and we did that to 20,000 households. The tabloid was present in the Caroline Progress, which featured the fair. We have a little spot in the county tourism book, and that's the Ferris wheel. It's on the cover of the tourism book. I was told that was our Ferris wheel from 2009, so that was exciting for us, as well as you gentlemen declared County Fair Week for us in July. And we were also invited to be on Channel 6, Virginia This Morning show on July 14th, and we were down there for 10 minutes talking about the Caroline County Fair that was starting that day and bringing the fair to a more regional level. So that was exciting for us. And we have been invited to come back in 2011. So that we look forward to going back to Richmond for that. We have certainly online, and everything's got to be online these days, and we realized that we had to establish our website in '09 and further embellish that in 2010 and created a Facebook fan page as well. And we were able to use these for advertising and having things on our websites, such as forms and things that people need to access in order to participate in the fair and other activities. Of course, as an organization grows, you have other things that have to go into place as well, and they are the operational improvements. We had to create, or we did create, a code of ethics and updated our bylaws to allow a fair association membership. We have quite a few volunteers who help us year after year, and we established a membership category so they could be a part of the organization. As you know or may not know, we are basically led by 15 board a 15-member board of directors at this time. We established for the first time our first lifetime member, and oh, surprise, that is Ms. Ann Tate. So we were really excited to honor her in that way and felt that was very important for us to do that. We had a more formal emergency response team developed. We have a documented plan now. Training and orientation was provided to our fair members, and we did have 2 events during the fair, but it was nice that people knew who, what, where, when, how, what to do in case there was an adverse event, and that went very smoothly because of the groundwork that had been done with that. As the fair is getting busier and busier, you know, we have a fair manager, but we decided to appoint a deputy fair manager to help with all of the things that are going on with this organization at this time. So that was done, as well as we researched and procured more comprehensive insurance coverage in 2010. And then, as I've previously mentioned, we decided to go with permanent improvements and not just use money for tent rental. The fair was ready to begin July 14th, and we were very glad we could have a dedication of our buildings, not just one building, but buildings in plural. And we had the opportunity to honor those people who had come forth and give these dollars to us so that we could have permanent structures, and a lot of you were in attendance at that event. Fair attendance, as I have mentioned, we are considered a small fair as far as attendance goes, which means 7,000 and less. But our attendance was up in 2010, up by 800. And you can see approximately just under 2,000 are children 10 years and under, and they attend free of charge. And of course, it's all about the children for us, and we hope to continue to do this. If you go to other fairs throughout the state of Virginia, you will see that's not the way it is in those fairs. They do charge admission for children of various ages, but we hope and we're very dedicated to be able to continue to do that for our children. We do offer an opportunity on Saturdays. We do have a $5 admission, but on Saturdays we have an opportunity for several hours that people can donate cans of food that goes to the social services food pantry, and they can bring that in lieu of paying a $5 admission. So we are able to support that organization as well and the needs that there are in the county with that. Of course, as I said, it's all about the children, and we're delighted to be able to do Daycare Day Friday, which is prior to the fair opening to the public each year, that daycare providers in the county are invited to bring children to attend this event. They have, Caroline's Promise was there to provide games. They had hay rides. They got to see the animals. Our racing pig and duck vendor, he was there. They provided the race for the children to see. And of course, you can't imagine all the squeals of delight those children had to see that event. It was just an awesome morning. Of course, we were glad we had the home goods building with the air conditioning, because a lot of them had to take a little respite in there, as well as they had an opportunity to see those exhibits. Another thing we do for these daycare kids is we have one of our volunteers who solicits various businesses, and they walk away with a goodie bag, including a whale poster from the visitor center. They have a McDonald's coupon. They have a magnet from the sheriff's office, just to name a few things that they have in a goodie bag. So every child walks away with a nice bag of goodies, as well as a county fair coloring book. I don't want to forget that, of course, very important part of that. We added some new events this year. As I've mentioned, the Racing Pigs and Ducks, which was certainly a big hit among all fair goers, and they're going to come back in 2011. And we were glad we were able to add the livestock show back to the fair. You know, the Caroline Fair has not had a livestock show since it was kind of had its rebirth back in the 90s. But now we have a nice facility, including the animal washing area, and we were able to provide that. And it wasn't just for children in Caroline. We had 4-H clubs from Hanover and Louisa come. We worked with a 4-H agent from Richmond County. He came and helped with this. Children learned showmanship. They showed their animals. They were able to, they received prizes, prize money, as well as their ribbons. So we were very excited that that got off to a successful start, and hope for that to get bigger and better as we go on. Of course, we had our home goods area, which that's been an area that has expanded tremendously these past 5 or 6 years, and we had various contests there. including Lego competition. We found out in our visits to other fairs that people doing Lego models is a very big thing, so we added that component as well. It's not all about canned tomatoes and stuff. It's also about Legos. So we added that and had a few entries. And with our home goods building, we're able to have an area for demonstrations. We had the local 4-H sewing club. They could be there with machines set up, in that they had a nice, clean environment that wasn't, you know, that would be free from hopefully rain and that type of thing, because we were inside, they were inside a building now. So we're hoping that we're going to be able to expand even more some demonstrations and exhibitions in that home goods building as we go on. Of course, the fair is about fun for all, age 1 to 101. You know, people bring their antique trucks, their antique tractors. They love the contests that we have. You know, we shuck over 500 ears of corn during those few days of the fair. People participate in that competition. We have people come back year to year for the pie eating contest and the watermelon eating contest, the rooster crowing and the hog calling contest. Year after year, repeat, they come back because they want to be the winner again. It's just phenomenal, the participation in those fun contests. And we just have lots of things, and we just enjoy seeing people have a good time, and I think these pictures somewhat tell it all. People wearing their blue ribbons, just having a good time. Of course, it's very important to us to hear from fairgoers what it is they liked about the fair, they didn't like about the fair. We took that much more seriously in 2010. We took our exit survey, we made it more user-friendly. We had a dedicated group of volunteers to approach people as they were leaving the fair to fill out the survey. We found out 2/3 of the people came with at least 3 other people, so they kind of travel in groups. That's good to know. How did they find out about the fair? Was our direct mailing effort worth it? Was it worth the money? Because we need to know what to do for 2011. So you can see the results of that survey here. What do they like the most? Well, they historically always like the agricultural displays. The animals are the best, seem to be kind of the best part. But they also feel like they're getting a good value for their money. It's an educational value and a good economic value as well. So we generally felt there was more buzz around about the fair this year. Not sure why, whether it was the postcards everyone was getting in their mailboxes or just generally hearing about the buildings that were going on or what. But we just felt it was just more talk around about the fair, and we were very excited about that. Of course, sponsors are very important, and you, the Board of Supervisors, are one of our sponsors. You give us $15,000 each year through Department of Tourism money, and we use that to promote the fair, primarily because with our budget of approximately $100,000, 20% goes into promoting the fair as well as our children's activities and games. So you can do the math and you know pretty much where that money will go. But these are some of our many sponsors as well as you that come back year to year to sponsor this activity. And you can see who they are as well, that we couldn't do it without our Ladysmith Pharmacy, Stork Funeral Home. Those people come every year. Coleman Farms provide services to us. Just so many people. Mount Olympus Berry Farm, you know, all those watermelons come from somewhere, as well as Kermit's Corn. You know, 500 ears of corn just don't drop there from nowhere. You know, all these people who provide services and goods to us as well as financial support, and we thank them just tremendously. Of course, money is important, but volunteers are even more important. Here you have a picture of some of our trustees and some volunteers. They have contributed in 2010 over 7,000 hours to the Caroline County Agricultural Fair. The fair is just not about 4 days during July. The fair is all year long now. It is 12 months out of 12 months every year. We're going hard and strong all the time. As you can see, we're here tonight. One of the things I like to take the time to do right now is a lot of those people are with me, and they've been with me all year long. It makes my job as president real easy because I really don't have to do much at all. But I'd like to have them stand up for a second if they would, because I have quite a few people here. Okay, highlights of fair operations. We've gone over that this evening. Buildings, 3 buildings, We know we still had to use a tent for entertainment, for our entertainment center this year. We would love to have someone step forward and come up with the right amount of money so we could have an entertainment center and didn't have to waste money in tent rental. If any of you would like to do that, we can talk after this program is over. We would love that. You can see some of the things. Our attendance was up. We had donations increase. Can you believe, in these days of economic times being what they are, that we've had so many people step forward with their pocketbooks open to promote this, this venue, what we are doing. So we're very excited. We had new vendors, new sponsors, new events. Just volunteer support was just up over 1,000 hours, and that really did not include the building hours. So without people and everything, we just couldn't do this. Next steps, what do? You know, we continue to do activities. We've continued to do fundraising activities too. We're going to be in Bowling Green this Saturday with Brunswick stew sales in order to try to raise more money to promote the fair. We had the Fall Fun Festival that you supported us by giving us $500. We had hundreds of kids during the day. We had over 1,000 plus at tailgate trick-or-treating that night. The conservative estimate was like 1,100 kids. Tailgaters was increased from 27 to 42 from last year. We got over 1,100 kids through from 6:30 to 7:45. Those kids were done and had candy and were happy and out the door. But we were so excited to do that. I mean, it was just phenomenal. If any of you were there, I know Mr. Seeley was there, and those kids were lined up all the way around the Martin Pavilion, and we were selling food all day long. It just was tremendous, the people that came out for this activity, and we'll continue that activity as well and look to you for continued support for that. The other thing you see is our scholarship for Germanna Community College. Several years ago, the Board of Trustees decided to establish a $500 scholarship for a Caroline County resident. Didn't matter what they were applying to take at Germanna, they just could apply for this scholarship as long as they were a Caroline County resident. This is administered through the Germanna Education Foundation. Now, you know, this year we could have done some other things with that $500, but the group was committed to keeping this scholarship going at Germanna because we feel that education is a very important part of what we're trying to do in promoting things as well for that. We've spent money for rezoning application and building permits this year, and I know we have our rezoning application before you tonight as part of your business, and we certainly hope you'll look favorably upon that, as well as our request to have some of our money perhaps donated back to us, because we have built these nice buildings, but they all have finishing touches that need to be done, and I know all of y'all know that who've been to the fairground. We've already got people coming forward for the 2011 fair. We've got the fair date saved, July 13th through 16, 2011. Put that on your calendar because we want to see you there. So that's where we are with that. And do you have any questions for me? I do want to make a comment at this time. If your name is not on Build the Barn banner at this time, I can help you with that as well. I know most of you have your name on that banner, but you don't want that to be a permanent building in Caroline County without your name on it. So just to let you know that as well. But anyway, any questions for me? If I can't answer them, I have a lot of people who can assist me, I hope.
Okay, now work on the lights.
Any questions?
Right. Francine, thank you so much.
You're
for that
welcome.
Very informative report.
We hope so.
Well, we know so, and we appreciate all that you guys do and the hours that you put in.
Thank
and
you.
The Tate family will never be forgotten for what they have done to make this happen, and we're very grateful. And we're proud of what you all have done with what you have and what you have done.
Thank you
very
so
grateful.
much.
Now, on the other board
Any
members have
questions?
any questions? Francine?
Hi, Wayne.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ms. Whitaker, one quick question. The
Yeah.
fair, the dates you gave us, it ends on a Saturday.
Yes, we're doing Wednesday through Saturday. We did that in 2010, Wednesday through Saturday, and we decided to stay with Wednesday through Saturday because Sunday attendance just doesn't, it's just not any Sunday attendance. But we did it Wednesday through Saturday this past year.
Okay, that's
This
what I-
year, and it did so well, we're continuing with a Wednesday through Saturday venue.
Okay.
So, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you
One
so
last
much.
question.
Yes, sir.
The pie eating contest, is that free?
Yeah, you just show up and eat a pie. I mean,
That
yeah, you
sounds like a
participate
good
in the
idea.
contest. You get a little messy.
All right.
You can come. We'll reserve one for you. Ms. Benner usually handles that contest. She'll
That-
put one with your name on it.
That has
But you
wheels.
get messy eating it. It isn't just for, you know.
Thank you very much.
Don't get the big pie with you after the contest.
Okay. Next, we have the representatives from the school, Dr. Kilo, and discussions of repair for Bowling Green Elementary. Dr. Kilo, appreciate you being here, and of course the concerns about the the bathroom at Bowling Green Elementary, and I guess there's other issues too. But just what is the school's take on the direction that you think that we should go, as we work together on these projects? Because from what I heard was that bathroom in Bowling Green Elementary needs to be fixed, and I have heard from other members of the school board and whatnot say, well, that's not really the answer. So what is your thoughts on where we should move with?
This is what I would suggest that we do,
Sure.
And I appreciate you asking and requesting this. We have gone to our architect and asked him for approximate prices. But again, if we want to do anything like this, before we would enter into it, I'd like us to get detailed drawings, and then we should go out for bid, and then we would be able to give you an official number of what the actual cost would be. But in the process, the architect responded to us earlier, or I guess early midday, sometime today, and shared with us the approximate cost for his recommendation, and would be the recommendation that I have shared with the board. If we're going to use the facility in the future, depending on what happens with the money for Bowling Green, PK5 Bowling Green School, which we're hoping to hear about in January, we're talking about $276,000. That's without drawings. And that would put in a bathroom, replace the existing bathroom where it is, beside of it, just like we've done at Bowling Green Primary and at Madison. You know how we built the new one and then vacated the old one. And the reason for that suggestion was the piping is so old, it'd be better for us to rebuild and put new pipes and tie them right into the existing main that we could for the sewer line. And it was suggested also on the other side, because this building is housing 3rd through 5th grade, those bathrooms that are running up and down the hallway there were actually designed when the school was a K-5 school back in its origin, and those are little bathrooms. And again, a lot of the infrastructure or the piping underneath of them is deteriorated. They are being used, but they're not, shouldn't be being used a whole lot. He suggested that we cap those off, turn those into closets, and put another bathroom over on that side where the boilers that are no longer being used in that vicinity, you would put one in there. And then at the same time, his recommendation was that we do the administrative, cafeteria, kitchen, nurses area, and the custodial room bathrooms to complete this thing and to make it correct. And he had a total cost at $330,000, and again, I don't believe that included drawings and having that done. That was just cost of construction. And that's an estimate.
And is that what your board, I guess you really haven't had a chance to go back with your board to see what
I was going to present
y'all have
this.
consensus on?
Yeah, I was going to present this to our board on Monday. You're hearing this really actually before they're hearing
Okay.
it. Okay.
All right. Okay, that's all the questions I have. Would you be able to take questions from other board members?
It's fine.
All right. Any other questions?
I have some.
Mr. Popowitz?
Dr. Gill, if we were to do this renovation, as you're suggesting, in light of possibility of a new school being built, what would that building be used for after we do these renovations? I mean,
It would be, and that's a good question. That's why we wanted to give you the full cost, Mr. Popowitz, and that's what we were doing, is thinking ahead that would either be used as For the CDLC, again, depending on what we do with the old Ladysmith or the old C.T. Smith High School, old Ladysmith Elementary School, and also looking at that possibly for Governor's School or for the school board office, because the back part where the old vocational wing, we're actually in the old welding lab or ag lab, is needing to eventually, it's just going to need to be vacated and torn down. And so we'll have to, that would displace most of the central office staff that's in that main area. The whole front structure, that the old annex, is in good condition all the way through to the auditorium, but the gym and the vocational areas or the additional areas back there probably are not structurally where they need to be.
Okay.
So that was the plan, and that was why, again, we thought the two bathrooms would serve, because if you split the school, put Governor's School and CDLC, or the school board office and CDLC or Governor's School, you have all that availability there.
And do we have any idea if there's what the additional renovations will be needed for the Governor's School and CDLC?
No, again, the bathrooms in that building are in the same condition. That would be one of the reasons we would hope to eventually move them or work on that condition at some point. But
Well, let me go back. If we move it to this location, do we have an idea of what the additional renovations will be at that location?
no, sir.
Okay.
I think we have a number, but I don't have it right offhand. I don't want to just give you an arbitrary number.
Sure.
I think we've talked about it a little bit, but I don't remember.
I don't have the number on top of my head. It's either on the hand.
You guys mind providing that to me later
I
on?
think it was about what I was going to say, if you, $1.5 million to do everything.
Okay. All right. And this, and I guess my next question would be, have we discussed with the architect engineer if we do these particular renovations now, would that lessen that cost later on?
That would be my understanding, because these were lifted out from that. When I talked to him, I specifically asked him to do if we were planning in the future, what his ideas were for the future, to go ahead and put those in place.
Do you mind verifying that information for me, please?
I can do that.
All right, I appreciate that.
I'll
Thank
get
you.
that to Mr. Ashcraft.
All right. That's all the questions I had.
Okay. Mr. Akers?
Was that number included into the handout that you gave to the board the last time we had a joint meeting?
I believe so.
I don't think so.
$3 million? Bowling Green Elementary?
That would be, if that's the number, that's
The
what
number's on
he
this page,
quoted.
$3 million
Okay.
to renovate that school. I don't necessarily have a question of Dr. Killo. I guess my comment is to the board. I'm not sure, my question is the majority of the board in agreement to move ahead at $200,000+ to do the renovations for this particular bathroom situation there? If the majority of the board is not willing to go that route, I'm not sure there's a need in Dr. Killo taking the proposal to his board on Monday, because they have to, it has to be funded in order for them to do the repair. So I think, first of all, we need to decide whether that's a commitment that we're ready to go with at this point in time, knowing that I think most of us have committed to the $9 million if you get the grant to go with the $9 million for the renovation of the primary school in Bowling Green to make it pre-K through 5. So I don't know if there's a need for him going ahead any further if it's not committed to funding the $300,000+ probably, because by the drawings and everything, it's certainly going to be over $300,000. And that's in addition to the $300,000 that we've already approved for the air conditioning units, as well as the $104,000 for the doors at the high school.
High school, correct.
Hey, Mr. Seeley?
Mr. Chairman, and I know that some things need to be done, but I'd really like to wait and see what we get back from the state on the grant for the PK5 school, because I think that as time moves forward, things are going to evolve there, and what we do today probably won't facilitate what we want tomorrow. So rather than spend money on something, I wish we hadn't done that, I think it's worth waiting to see what happens with this PK5 application we've made. Dr. Keeler, you said that we had an 80% chance, it looked like, based on the scoring, of that application of actually, of all the projects, that one coming through, I think that would facilitate a lot of the need that we have and give us some time to look at that. Because even if we had the money today to do it, there's no way you can do that during school. I mean, that's one of those projects that I see is just, it's going to require a lot of in the school worker kind of facilities that are going to take a summer to do. So it's not like it's out the window. But one of the questions I did have is, can we replace the toilets in there temporarily? Can we do without affecting the overall structure of that restroom? Can we change some fixtures in there to make it a little better? And I know that may be tough.
Yeah, we can. Now, when I was talking to the architect a little bit, some of it will come down to mounts and everything else.
Right. I know that even when I was on the school board, those restrooms